All right, good morning. Today we're going to create a fidget spinner. We're going to use correct dimensions, at least for the holes where a bearing would go, and that's how it gets its momentum, and that's how you make it spin kind of freely, right? Uses those ball bearings in the center. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new document. Let's call it last name spinner 1 because we're probably going to do our own custom spinner as well. So let's do spinner 1. And the first thing we're going to do is start out by creating new sketch. This time we're going to do it on the top plane. That way we're extruding it kind of straight up. You could do it on the front, makes no difference, but for this we want it to look like it's laying flat on the table. So we'll start on the top plane. I'm going to rotate my view cube up there in the corner so that I can see straight down on my sketch. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my center portion where the middle bearing would go. That's where you would hold your fingers, right? In the center, your middle finger and your thumb. That way you can spin it. So I'm going to start with a circle and click on my origin point. And the diameter of a normal ball bearing that you would put in like rollerblades or skateboards or scooters or something like that is 0.866. Okay, and that'll give us our circle portion for that, and then we need to create a portion on the outside here that is a little bit larger, and that'll be the actual 3D printed portion of it around it. So I'm going to make that 1.25. That'll give us a nice, not too meaty, but not too skinny of a profile around that bearing. The next thing I'm going to do is use something that we haven't before, and if you look up here, letter Q on your keyboard is also this tool right here, which is the construction tool. And what we can do is use it to make a construction line to say I want to start away from my origin here and how far. So I don't want the circle. We have to click on the line tool and then the construction tool. So I'm going to click on my origin and I'm going to draw a construction line down here that's 1.25. And then I'm going to hit escape and get out of it, right? And that construction line looks like this. This is a dotted or dashed line. And that would not show up. You couldn't extrude that. That's literally just to construct an object and have the right dimensions or proportions. So the next thing I'm going to do is come back to my circle, and at this point I'm going to draw my center portion for where my bearing on the outside that gives it its momentum to go. So I'm going to make that one 0.866 as well. And on the outside here, I'm going to make it 1.25. All right, so it actually looks like we are a little bit far away. So we're going to change our construction line. So this line right here, we're going to change that to 1 instead. Yeah, that looks okay. It's a little close. Let's change it to 1.125. Yeah, that looks better. And what that's going to do is allow our profiles here to mix, but it's not going to put this circle too close to that one. Okay, so we're going to do 1.125 for that construction line. And as you can see, once I move that construction line, since I base this entire circle off of it, it moves it up and down. So again, you can change that construction line length at any time. All right, if I wanted that circle way far away, I could do that. Next thing I'm going to do is do something that we haven't done, and that is called, not the mirror tool, not the linear pattern, but if I click this and go to circular pattern, it'll allow us, if I click on this circle, and I click on the outside circle, you'll see it'll put 2 more circles up here. And you can actually change those settings to do more, but for this one we just want 3. Right? And if I click the check mark, you see it made a pattern, right, on the outside at the same exact locations, almost like at different points. So like this would be at like 2 o'clock on a clock, 6 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock, right? So now I have a profile, I have a nice profile that we can extrude to create a nice shape. So if I click here, you'll see that I missed that section. Click there, click there. You see that I'm missing some. So in order to not have to deal with those small chunks missing, you could just go back and use the trim tool and fix it up. But you don't have to, we can just click through it. So we don't want a fidget spinner that's that big. Let's change our extrusion to 0.25, and I think that looks a lot better. You could go ½ inch if you want, but 0.25 or ½ inch, totally up to you on what you want to do. Right? So right now it looks like it's kind of pointy and rigid. Right? So what we're going to do is use the fillet tool right here, and we can leave it on 0.2, that's fine. And we're just going to click in between, and it'll give us a nice rounded radius in between these circles. It'll just help smooth it out and make it look a little bit better. So I'm just rotating the part around. All right, so it's starting to look more like a fidget spinner. Right, and the last thing we're going to do is highlight everything and then click fillet. And I'll say can't do that back one. That's okay, we don't need it to, or it's missing it, could be missing it. Let's just hit the check. Didn't work. Let's try 0.1. Yeah, that looks better. All right, so we had to change that to 0.1. 0.2 was a little bit large. That's probably because I used a 1/4 inch extrusion. If you did the ½ inch, it would let you do the larger one, and it'll round it. Right, so totally up to you on how you want to do the extrusion. ½ inch probably looks better. I think it does look cooler. So totally up to you. I just changed that extrude one to ½ instead of 0.25. So however you want to do it, you get a little bit of customization here, but we're going to create our own fidget spinners next. So as long as you have this part, we should be good. All right, good luck. Whenever you're done, make sure you share, change it to teams, and then find your team name, can view, and check that export just in case we 3D print these. So go ahead and share it. That's it. Good luck. If you need me, I'll be on Teams.